scheduled was Norfolk State, Virginia Wesleyan, Voorhees, and North Carolina Wesleyan. So this is an event that I would expect Norfolk State to really be strong in. They won cross country in their conference for both the indoor and the outdoor, or sorry, for both the men's and the women's cross country team scores this past season. So no surprise to see them out front. For those tuning in who may be more sprint focused and unfamiliar with the distance medley relay, we start off with a 1,200 meter leg. That's what you're seeing run right now. It's really the only time the 1,200 is run on an indoor track. And the 1,200 meter man will hand off to a 400 meter runner. You'll notice a drastic change in speed at that point as we see the men's scheduled to start for Norfolk State right there. Lewis 2, Devin Mosley, Victor Jumo, and Gideon Sagai. The 400 meter man hands off to the 800. And then the final athlete is a 1,600 meter runner, which we have seen some high drama at the NCAA level at indoor championships with that mile runner being able to hawk down folks. We've also seen some just really memorable races. I think of Ed Cheserek at the Penn Relays in a, let's call it a controversial loss for Oregon several years ago, where the sub-4 man slowed it down and let a lot of other teams back in the race. That race was eventually won by Villanova. But bringing you back to today, Norfolk State trying to improve upon their second place performance at the indoor conference meet last year. They ran 2:12. This is an event really that if you win in cross country, you feel like you should win here, although it's not always the same. You know, those 800 meter guys are usually not as strong over the cross country 8K. But distance is obviously the name of the game in the distance medley relay. And as you can see, based on the predicted times, this should be an easy win for Norfolk State. But they're thinking about perhaps getting a mark. Me at conference meet is 1,200 meter man, hands off to the 400. So that was 3:22 for the first leg of Norfolk State. Not the strongest 1,200, did just enough to get the lead, but we'll need a lot of help from the next three gentlemen if they want to get a fast time. They ran 10:12 at conference last year. Virginia Wesleyan also in the race. Only had 4 teams at the D3 Atlantic Conference meet contest the DMR. So they can get some free points if they just field a team, which obviously they have the capability of. So 4:13 on the split right there. It's a 49 split. 50.7 is what we're getting officially. But if Virginia West under 12 minutes for the DMR, then they should be in prime position to get in the top 3 in their conference. As we see Norfolk State's 800 meter man.
Final and last call, men 200 meter declaration. Final and last
UNC
call,
Wesleyan perhaps is thinking about what it takes to make the finals at the NAIA Championships. They'll need 10:16 if they want to do that, which is going to be a big ask. But they were entered with no time, so one of the nice things about being entered with no time is all you have to do is finish, and that is in some ways an improvement. Although I'm sure Coach has a number in mind for those gentlemen to meet today. For those just tuning in, we will only have one heat of the men's DMR. If you're watching right now, we're on the 800-meter leg. Shortly, we'll hand off to the milers. So you see North Carolina Wesleyan and Virginia Wesleyan doing battle farther back. Norfolk State entered about a minute faster than Virginia Wesleyan. Entered with a time of 10:15, ran 10:12 last year at conference, which will be a challenge to meet today.
The mile leg, our leader, Norfolk State University.
Lost a lot of time on the 1,200-meter leg. He ran 3:22.
800 leg for Norfolk
Respectable
State University.
400 at 49.
156.76.
156 certainly won't lose you a lot of time, but as you might imagine, you can lose the most time on the 1,200-meter man and the 1,600-meter man as they do more circuits. If Norfolk State wants to get under 10, they're going to need that 3:22 in the 1,200 to really be closer to 3 flat. You want to run the numbers on that. 3:22 in the 1,200 is going to be equivalent to about 4:30, 4:35 in the mile. Norfolk State, with all their cross-country prowess, are certainly more capable than that. However, it appeared as if the 1,200-meter man just wanted to hand off first, because after that first lap or two, he turned around and let's say he stopped racing. He didn't stop running, but he stopped racing. The DMR, of course, an event where you're going to run your best when you have teams to chase, teams to work off of. True in any event where competition brings out the best in these young men and women. Norfolk State, however, not having much of that competition today. Yeah, it's selected on my end. Yep. USB codec. I can just try adjusting the microphone a little closer. Is that better? Is there anything else I can play with? I've got mic gain to play with. I have mic gain, mix, and volume on my end. Oh, and I don't have any. Oh yeah, I can do that in the sound. I don't have any other, like last week on the vMix call, I had the option to change my input. I'm in sound. The USB is selected, but I don't have.
Our leaders, Norfolk State University.
I don't have any option to reduce echo. Let me try just unplugging and replugging it in.
Coming up to the bell lap of the men's distance medley relay, our leaders, Norfolk State University. The winner of the distance medley relay, Norfolk State University, in a time of 10:40.04. Second place finisher, Virginia Wesleyan. In third place, North Carolina Wesleyan.
Okay, reconnecting. You get me on the broadcast now. VMix issue, I guess. Yeah, I don't have. I'm looking for the option. I've previously had the option to adjust like I can toggle the microphone within vMix, but I don't have that option right now. I've
Next
certainly
event on the track
selected
scheduled
USB
to
audio
go off
codec
at
on the
2:30
input,
p.m.
as you can see on the
Our women's
screenshot.
200
I'm gonna hang up
meter
the phone since
dash
you can hear me.
finals.
Okay. Okay. Yep. And apologies for some technical difficulties on our end, but as you saw, Norfolk State took the win, a time that they certainly will not be riding home about, hoping to do better at the MEAC conference meet here in a couple weeks. But Virginia Wesleyan, North Carolina Wesleyan, good race between the two. Virginia Wesleyan takes the edge today. Again, with them, same story as Norfolk State, times that they will hope to improve upon, but that will be it for the DMR, and we will step aside for a moment before coming back with some women's 200-meter action scheduled to start at 2:30 Eastern time. But we will hold our breath as they might start a little bit early, so stay tuned here on FloTrack, and we'll be back soon.
First call, women's 200 meters. First call, women's 200 meters. Second call, women's 200 meters. Second call, women's 200 meters. Please check in, race ready. Please check in, race ready. All 200-meter runners should be in the clerking area, race ready at this time. All 200-meter runners, women, should be in the clerking area, race ready at this time. In the women's high jump, we have one competitor left at 1.78 meters.
Welcome back to Virginia Beach. It is FloTrack's coverage of the NCAA D1 Pre-National meet, testing out this beautiful Virginia Beach facility that will play host to the NCAA D1 Indoor Championships here in a couple weeks.
First heat of the women's 200-meter dash.
And as you can see, we're getting our 200-meter women lined up. We'll be ready with the action as soon as they're ready. 47 women entered in the 200-meter dash. We'll have 11 heats.
Scheduled to compete in lane 1 of the first heat of the women's 200-meter dash. We have Sherlock from UNC Pembroke.
And here are your starters. Katie Marie Sherlock of UNC Pembroke. She'll go in 3. Andrew Livingston of East Carolina will go in 4. Our fastest entered athlete, Brianna Charles, more on her in a moment. She'll go in 5, and she'll have some strong competition from Kamaya Wooten of North Carolina Wesleyan, who will go in 6. So because of the new NCAA rules, athletes get to choose their lane. So lane 5 is always the preferred lane, gives you the opportunity to chase the woman to your outside, but also get the benefit of the wider curve. So no surprise to see Brianna Charles choosing lane 5. She was second yesterday in the 60-meter. Ran a PR there of 7:45. She's been on a roll all season long. PR a couple weeks ago in the HBCU showcase. PR in both the 60 and the 200. She'll race Kamaya Wooten on the outside, who's ready for some revenge. She got into the finals in the 60 yesterday, but did not quite execute well. Didn't have her best race, looking to improve here. Top mark in Hampton's conference is 23.6, so that is what Brianna Charles is chasing as she makes up the stagger on Kamaya Wooten. Going under 23.8 would move her into the prospective medal positions. Get as high in the seeding at conference as possible.
Looks like an easy win for Brianna Charles from Hampton University. 24.03 seconds.
24.03 for Brianna Charles.
Third, Sherlock from UNC Pembroke.
So she will not be too thrilled about that, despite taking the heat win. Not a fast enough mark for her to improve upon her recent success. She set the bar pretty high, so that always makes it more challenging to keep it rolling. Heat number 2 will have Gary Herrera in lane 3. Kennedy Johnson of Hampton will go in lane 4. Taisha Bryant, North Carolina Wesleyan, in 5. And Elisa Farrar of Norfolk State in 6. Saw most of these women in the 60 yesterday, coming back with hopefully a good night's sleep for some 200-meter action.
Herrera, Johnson, Bryant, and Farrar scheduled to compete in Heat 2 of the women's 200-meter dash.
Farrar placed 6th yesterday in the 60, 7:67, so expect her to get out quick. She goes in 6.
And we're off. Heat 2 of the women's 200
Good start from
meter
Kennedy Johnson of Hampton down in lane 4. Just already making up the stagger on Bryant. Farrar is storming down the back stretch. We'll see if Johnson can catch her on the bend. It's going to be tight between Johnson and Farrar, but Farrar hits another gear as she comes off the bank. Looks over the shoulder.
Looks like another easy win. Heat
And
silver,
24-4 for
Norfolk
Farrar.
University, Alyssa Farrell, 24.407.
Right on her PB.
Johnson from Hampton second, and Herrera from UNC Pembroke third. Pickett, White, Hall, and Burrell scheduled to compete in Heat 3 of the women's 200-meter dash.
Heat number 3 starters. We'll have 3 women from Norfolk State. Isaiah Wilkin 4, Brandy Hall in 5, Autumn Burrell in 6. They'll be joined by Cassandra Pickett, sole athlete from North Carolina Wesleyan, down in lane 3.
Set. Stand up.
And we'll reset that. If you look at Norfolk State's conference, the MEAC, the 200 on the women's side is mostly dominated at the moment by Howard in terms of those early season marks. What a really fast runs by the Howard women, who are currently 1st through 7th. NC Central athlete in 8th. Farrar, who we just saw with that 24-4, will put her way up into the top 10. Actually puts her right on that 8th spot, knocking out NC Central's athlete. Takes 23.89 to be at the top of the conference. Only one woman has done that in the MEAC. That's Tiffany Ray Pittman. But Norfolk State hoping to get some bodies into finals. That's the old coach adage. And to do that, they'll need women capable of 24-4, if not a little bit faster.
Set.
And they're off. Heat 3 of the women's 200-meter dash. Pickett, White, Hall, and Burrell.
And it looks like a Norfolk State time trial, doesn't it? All 3 women on the outside. And it looks like Hall is starting to get the edge as she overtakes Burrell. But look at White coming through on the inside. Hall's trying to respond. White and Hall shoulder to shoulder. White gets the edge there in the last 50 meters just by a little bit, 25 flat. That is a huge improvement for her off her seed time of 25.5. Hall also with a nice improvement there at 25.1.
25.61.
Really good work there by the Spartans.
All right, ladies, stay behind your blocks.
And heat number 4 was scheduled to have 4 entrants. I think we're down to 3. In lane 4, we'll have Diana Dyer of Norfolk State. In lane 5, we'll have Heaven Roberts of Mount Olive. And in lane 6, we'll have Morgan Pruitt running for Hampton. Roberts of Mount Olive, fastest seed time at 24.61. Going in lane 5, chasing Pruitt to her outside.
women's 200-meter dash.
And Roberts doing well on the first curve, trying to make up the stagger to Pruitt. And she's going to come around the bank in the lead. And I think it's going to be very hard for Pruitt to challenge from that position. And sure enough, Roberts takes the win.
Looks like our winner from Mount
24:49.
24.46.
A nice improvement off her entered time of 24:61.
Pruitt from Hampton second at 24.67, and Dyer from Norfolk State third, 25.38.
All right, ladies, stay behind your blocks.
Heat number 5. We'll have Kennedy Chapman in 3, Spencer Settle in 4, Sarah Nicholson in 5, and Emma Townsend in lane 6.
Set.
No, heat 5, women's 200 meters.
Good start from Settle of Towson. Working in lane 4, making up the stagger on Nicholson. Townsend really moving well on the outside. When you start on the outside, you gotta get out quick. Gotta do that in the 200 either way. But even more pressure when you know you're gonna be running blind, or so you hope, as Settle starts to enter Townsend's vision on the inside. It's Settle of Towson and Townsend of College of Charleston, say that 5 times fast, who finished shoulder to shoulder, and we'll look to the board to see who got it. It's gonna be Settle by 0.02 of a second.
Spencer Settle from Towson, 25.29 seconds.
And we'll move to heat number 6. Femina Egbiri. Saw her yesterday in the 60. She's in Catawba.
Stay behind your blocks.
And we'll have Jamela Stansbury of Maryland Eastern Shore representing the Hawks in lane 3. We'll have Lucy DeSion of Davidson in 4. Then the 2 Norfolk State teammates, Cadence Taylor and Kaylee Bork, in lanes 5 and 6. A lot of these women raced the 60 earlier.
Set.
Handel, heat 6 of the women's 200-meter dash.
Good start from Taylor and Bork on the outside. Norfolk State doing the work. Taylor trying to make up the stagger there on her teammate, but look at lane 2. That's Egbiri working very well for Catawba. Egbiri trying to catch up to Taylor on the turn, but it's Taylor who enters the straightaway in the lead. And it's going to be Taylor that takes it for the Spartans. Spartans go 1-2. Good run there out of lane 2, though, for Egbiri. Very tough to run out of lane 2. Taylor takes the win in 25-35.
Second call, men's 200 meters.
Section 7 on the track.
Check in, race
Zanaya Hill of Catawba goes in 3. Nancy Hudson of Towson
200 meters.
goes in
Please
4.
check in. Race ready.
Moria Chance of Maryland Eastern Shore is your fastest seated athlete in this race. She goes in lane 5. And then Zaire Flood of Norfolk State goes in lane 6.
All right, ladies, stay behind your
Chance
blocks.
has entered 0.04 of a second faster than Floyd. Chance in lane 5, a senior. Floyd in lane 6, a freshman.
On your marks.
Youth versus experience.
Set.
And they're off. Heat 7. Women's 200-meter dash. Hill, Hudson.
Chance already on the attack, trying to get to Floyd. Chance is going to make it up right here. And I don't think Floyd's going to be able to respond to that. Wow, Chance motoring right past Floyd. And we'll take the win. Just above 25. We'll wait for the official.
Our winner from Maryland Eastern Shore, Chance. 25.03 seconds. Second place, Floyd.
25:03 on the official.
25.54 seconds.
Section 8. Getting lined up, Mallory Witherspoon goes in 2 for Catawba. Tanaya Glaspie for UNC Pembroke goes in 3. Giselle Badu of Towson goes in 4. Maturi Robinson,
Okay, ladies,
our
stay behind
fastest
your blocks.
entered time in this heat, the senior from East Carolina, goes in 5. And Calencia Taylor will go in 6 for Norfolk State. Holding this up for now. She knows her team's hosting. She's just getting in her competitors' heads.
Set.
Really good start on the outside by Taylor. Here comes Robinson, trying to put in some work off the bank. And as I say that, Taylor's just only going to extend her lead. Valencia Taylor, the freshman out of Norfolk State, going to try to take this thing wire to wire, and she's going to do it.
Look like our winner, Taylor from Norfolk State University.
25:43 on the official.
25.43 seconds. Second place from East Carolina, Robinson, 25.96 seconds. On the track, heat 9.
Heat number 9, Caroline Cassidy of College of Charleston will go in 2. Becca Polgar of Davidson in 3. Eden Barnwell of Catawba goes in 4. Armani Harris of Norfolk State goes in 5. And Natalie Mayol of East Carolina goes in 6. Lanes 2, 3, and 4, all freshmen. Fastest marks and the only sub-26 women go in 5 and 6.
On your marks. stand up. Lane 4, your foot cannot be standing on the white line. Your starting line is the solid white line.
A little confusion over the start lines there. We'll try this one more time.
Set.
And they're off. Heat 9 of the women's 200-meter dash.
Section 10.
Neil of East Carolina there on the outside has a pretty massive lead going into the final curve here. Tight battle there on the inside. It's going to be all East Carolina, wire to wire. It's going to be off her seed time of 25:25. Actually, she's going to be right about on it, 25:23. Our clock ran a little slow there. Nice little season best for her. And 2 heats remain of the women's 200. This race will feature 3 athletes from Towson. We'll have Morgan Lane in lane 2. Amaya Winston of UNC Pembroke in 3. Jessica Franklin of Hagerstown CC in 4. And the 2 remaining Towson athletes, Crystal Pummels and Kiora Rollins in 5 and 6. Pummels the fastest entered athlete. Rollins not far behind. Expect a tight race from those 2.
Heat 10, women's.
Rollins out of the
200-meter
blocks
dash.
very well. Pummels will have some work to do if she wants to catch up to her teammate. Franklin trying to get moving there out of lane 4. Here comes Pummels starting to catch her teammate. She's rolling down the bank. Despite the better start of Rollins, Pummels making up a ton of ground there in the middle 100 of the race, and she's going to take the win. 25:20 for Pummels.
Winner out of section 10, Palmettos from Towson, 25.20 seconds.
And we'll line up our 11th and final heat of the women's 200. This race will feature Kayla Lewis of Catawba, her teammate Letzi Burgos in 3. Catherine O'Neill of College of Charleston will go in lane 4. Kaylee Jefferson, whom we saw yesterday, will go for Hampton in lane 5. And Kellis Milburn of Towson in lane 6. Jefferson, your fastest entered athlete with a 25:42. There's Jefferson.
Final section of women's 200 meters.
Very good out at the blocks is Jefferson. Already making up the stagger on Milburn. Jefferson really rolling down the back stretch.
Jefferson and Milburn. Final section, heat 11.
Getting very close to that line on the bank, but Jefferson comes into straightaway alone and will take the win in 24:81.
Jefferson from Hampton, our winner.
First woman under 25 in a couple heats. We'll get those all tallied up for you in a moment, but undoubtedly takes the victory in section number 11.
Our starter did an excellent job. 11 section of the women's 200 meters in 25 minutes. Great job, starter.
And there they all are all tallied. Jefferson actually gets all the way into 5th from that last heat. Hampton does well to get 1st, 3rd, and 5th. And Brianna Charles takes the win in that 24:03. Now we'll get ready. Men's 200-meter dash. Nice for the starter. Don't really have to change anything. The men will certainly adjust their blocks, but that will be it. 10 sections scheduled. Similar to the women, expect most of your faster times to be in lane 5 and 6. It seems to be the strong preference of 200-meter athletes. Likely because that's where all the fast times come from. So, there's a good reason for that. Heat number 1, we'll have 3 athletes from Norfolk State. Brian Madison Ahuman goes in 3. Darius Turner of Catawba tries to break up. Pirates in lane 4. Kendrick Winfield goes in 5. Donovan Terry goes in 6. Saw Winfield in the 400 yesterday. He's ranked number 4 in his conference in this event. With that 21.47. He is entered much quicker than that, though, with a 20.79.
We have 10 scheduled sections of the men's 200-meter dash, heat 1 on the track.
And we might have spoken too soon on that easy transition from the women's to the men. There we go. Time the Norfolk State athletes will be chasing is 21:18. That's the top mark in their conference, done by Dan Princewell-Goba of Howard about a month ago, the Corky Classic.
Set.
Good start from all 4 gentlemen. Pretty even for now, but Winfield trying to make up on Terry. Remember, he's a 400-meter man, so a lot of strength from Winfield. And Winfield will glide past the competition off bank, enter the straightaway all by himself, and win of heat number 1. 21:24 will move him up the conference ranks. That is the second fastest time run in the MEAC this year. Now owned by Norfolk State. He'll move up from 4th. Turner's 22:01. Also a nice run from him.
Heat 2 on the track.
Heat 2 will feature Chaddison Cohen of Hampton, Mecky Hayes of UNC Pembroke. Jason Hart, we'll keep an eye on him in lane 5, representing Mount Olive. Also have Vincent Bond coming back from yesterday's 400. He'll be in lane 6. Jason Hart entered with a 21:17. He's number 2 in his conference this year. He's only run 22:06 this year, so I'm not sure where that 21:17 came from. Maybe a lifetime PR. If he breaks 21.99, which would be a 700th of a second improvement, he moves to number 1 in his conference. Bond thinking similarly. He's number 6 in his conference. Just saw his teammate Winfield move up. He'd like to do the same. Hart in 5, Bond in 6. And they are out quick. Hart trying to make up the stagger on Bond. Bond feels him on his shoulder, but cannot do anything about it in the bank. Here comes Hart into the final straightaway. Well executed race. We'll wait for the time. 21:48. Very good day for him. Moves to the top of the conference, season best, and he wants to run another lap. Well done. Bond's 21:72 will not be an improvement for him on the season. Heat number 3, we'll have Jaden Clark of Hampton. We'll have Judah Wright of Maryland Eastern Shore. And then 2 Norfolk State athletes, Premier Wynn and Christopher Baskin making it. Up 5 and 6. Wynn was ranked number 4 in his conference. Not anymore, since Winfield moved up.
Heat 3 on the track.
But would like to contend for a medal in the MEAC this year. Really good reaction from Wynn in 5. He looks to make up that stagger very quickly. Him and Basking entered with similar times, but Wynn certainly with the advantage through 100 meters. Wynn's going to keep that advantage rolling in the second 100. He's going to come off the bank in the lead. And Premier Wynn will take the dub. He'll look for the time. 21:44, a solid mark, but nothing he's going to be too excited about. Moves up his season best by 100th of a second. He's run faster than that. You can tell by his reaction. He thinks he can run closer to 21:2, maybe even quicker than that. But good to have some consistency. Talked about that a little bit yesterday. Really important to create consistency in this middle of the season. Gives you a lot of confidence as you head towards conference weekend. A lot can go wrong in a 200 to be able to execute well. Usually consistency is the precursor to a nice improvement. As we move to heat number 4, we'll have Al's Odin Desir presenting Hagerstown in lane 3. Kaylin McKinney of UNC Pembroke will go in 4. And again, we'll have Norfolk State teammates on the outside, Julian Ward and Levante Bond.
On your marks. Set.
Ward struggled out of the blocks a little bit there. But here he comes making up the stagger on Bond. Ward catches his teammate about halfway through the bank, and now we get an advantage as he comes off the bank. Ward looking strong down the final stretch, takes the win. 21:57.
Our winner in heat 4.
Similar to his teammate Premier Wynn in the former heat. Will not be too impressed with the time as he's run faster than that this season.
21.86 seconds.
Heat number 5. Lining up. This will be Michael Simpson of Catawba, Austin McCoy of Hagerstown CC, Andy Colley of Maryland Eastern Shore, and Furious Trammell of Hagerstown. A lot of these guys coming back from the 60 or the 400 yesterday. Taking advantage of the 2-day meet. Perhaps getting a little bit of